Welcome back in. This is the fourth and final video in this series. What do I do after I launch? I hope you've enjoyed the first three videos, and I hope you really enjoyed this fourth one. Because if you've launched your podcast and you're already thinking, maybe I should change the format, maybe the niche isn't right, maybe the episodes are too long, maybe I should just start over. I want you to pause with me for a second because this moment right here is where a lot of good podcasts quietly die. Not because they were bad, but because they changed too early. So in this video, I'm going to help you understand when it actually makes sense to change your podcast and when you absolutely should not to. This will save you time, energy, and a lot of unnecessary doubt. So let's jump in. So why the urge to change shows up so fast? Well, that's a great question. The urge to change your podcast after launch usually comes from one place: discomfort. Yeah, it comes from discomfort. Not because you've had great new ideas or anything, you wanna make big changes, because 'cause you're uncomfortable. Your brain's trying to figure out why. The discomfort of quiet numbers, limited feedback, limited engagement, hearing your own voice, not feeling settled yet, comparing yourself to other creators that maybe launched at the same time than you, and they're posting their numbers, and maybe they're on the surface more successful than you are, but are they really? But in these moments, your brain wants relief. It often wants to change as a solution. But here's the truth: most early discomfort is not a sign that something's broken, it's a sign something is new. It takes 21 days to build a habit, at least 30 plus at that. And so I've thought throughout my shows, throughout my history as a podcaster, man, I wanted to pivot. I wanted to pivot so quickly. I wanted to change the format. I didn't like it. It wasn't working. It wasn't going to be it. And so let's change it. Let's switch it up. Let's adjust versus just staying with it. I'm pretty sure early on in Young Dad podcast, we tried multiple different segments. We tried multiple different things, multiple different flows and layouts, and it didn't work. Same with like when I launched the Evergreen Report. It was a lot of different subjects. There was a lot of different stuff. It was inconsistent. It didn't really work. It's fun content. I enjoyed doing it, but it didn't really work. It's too much, too informationally. Not enough engaging times with that. It's just information heavy podcast. And those are hard for a lot of people to process and keep up with, even if you break it down to a really simple level. And so I've abandoned that idea. I abandoned biracial broadcasts after two or three episodes because I wanted to pivot. I wanted something different. I abandoned patriarchy principles after like 18 episodes because it just didn't make sense to where I wanted to go. Right. And so it was Young Dad podcast. I wanted to quit a lot. 10 episodes, 20, 30, 40. Man, I had those moments I pause and I'm like, you know what? What would hurt if I did 10 more? What if I just tried something different? What if I just did this instead? What if I just tweaked this one little thing maybe? Lo and behold, when I pause instead of reacting, now we're approaching nearly 300 episodes as Young Dad podcast. That show would have been dead after 10 or 20. A lot of great dad podcasts, a lot of great parenting podcasts. There's a lot of fellow dadcasters, their podcast died after 10 to 20, 25 episodes. They tried to bring it back, didn't work. So the things that you should not change early, and let me be very, very clear here, very grounding here as well. In the first 60 days to 90 days, you should not change. Write this down, screenshot, anything. I don't care. Just make sure you have this information: your podcast name, your core audience, your main format, your posting schedule, and your overall message. Why? Why those things, Coach Jay? Well, because you haven't given these things time to settle, to be discovered, to be refined, or to be trusted by listeners yet. Changing these too early resets your momentum every time. It's like planting a seed, digging it up every week, and wondering why nothing grows. This is something that I remind people constantly. We don't change direction until we know what direction we're actually in. How are you going to know what direction you're going in? You've been driving on the highway, think you're going the wrong way, but you're not sure. So you just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And then you're actually, wait, oh, shoot, I realized I'm actually going the wrong way. Now let me get off, turn around and go back and then turn here, turn here, turn here kind of thing. But you go a bit further just to make sure kind of where we need to be at right now. but you can adjust without panic. Just like that car analogy I just gave. You've probably been in the car, you drove a few streets, you got a few blocks further, maybe a couple miles, and you're like, "Oh, shoot. I missed my turn. I missed this. No problem. Let me just boop, boop, boop. I'm back on track," kind of thing. It doesn't mean you do nothing. You don't just pull the car over and stop. There are things you can generally and gently adjust without blowing everything up. And safe adjustments include tightening your episode openings, clarifying your titles, improving your hooks, adjusting episode length slightly. You don't want to go from an hour to 30 or 15 to an hour. Small adjustment, maybe 5, 10 minutes here and there. So it doesn't feel like, oh, that was a lot longer. It's like that was a little bit longer, but not much, right? Improving your audio quality, which if you ask me, that's minuscule. Refining your talking points is another really safe one. These are craft improvements, not identity changes. They help you grow without destabilizing your podcast. And this is how progress should feel: intentional, calm, incremental, not reactive. And so what do you live by, Coach Jay, when it comes to podcasts? Well, I live and teach by no major podcast changes before 90 days. Your first 90 days, you need to gather data. 90-day gives you enough episodes, enough reps, enough emotional regulation, enough data, and enough perspective. Before that, everything feels bigger than it is. After that, you can evaluate clearly. If something truly isn't working, you'll know. You'll know pretty quick. You actually know really quick. Not because you're anxious, but because you're informed. So, how do you evaluate without spiraling? Well, when it's time to evaluate, ask better questions. Not, is it working? But am I clearer than I was my first 10 episodes? Does this still align with where I'm at, my content recently, what I'm posting with why I started? Can I sustain this for the next 6 months? Do I feel more confident on the microphone? These questions lead to thoughtful adjustments, not emotional reset. This is exactly how I walk clients through change when it's actually time. And if you're realizing, wow, I've been reacting instead of evaluating, or I really want someone to help me make these decisions without emotion running the show, that's exactly where Coach Jay comes in to help. Not to stop you from changing, but to help you change at the right time for the right reasons. Good podcasts don't avoid change, they avoid panic. And if this helped you, comment this. I'm giving my podcast 90 days. Commit to it, live by it, commit to the 90-day rule. And if you launch a podcast in 2026, make sure you subscribe. This entire series was built to help you stay steady, confident, and intentional after launch. What comes in February? Who knows? Probably something great again. This is my second series I've done in videos. And so I really hope these are helpful and you're able to rewatch these. Watch these back when you feel like it's time. Or if you're brand new to starting your podcast and you're starting in February, make sure to go watch this whole series to get some more clarity before you start to freak out in your first 30 days. And remember, you don't need to blow it up. You need to give it time. You need to ask questions. You need to evaluate, not react. And just remember, you're doing better than you think. Coach Jay out. See you in February.